Hello, crypto peeps, and we have some great news for you. First up, the SEC got pawned. They got sanctioned. They've been trying to avoid sanctions for a while. They're like, please, judge, don't sanction us and destroy the reputation of our fabulous agency. And the judge was like, no, you're getting sanctioned because you're evil. And that's exactly what happened. A U.S. judge sanctioned the SEC. And it's not over Ripple, it's not over Coinbase, it's over DebtBox. And two of their lawyers were unceremoniously destroyed. Two lawyers for the US SEC were forced to resign after a federal judge sanctioned the agency last month for committing gross abuse of power. That's right. They have a gross abuse of power. Now, they were trying to avoid these sanctions for a long time, and the SEC actually wrote letters of apology and said there's nothing that warrants a sanction, but the judges did not disagree because the SEC pulled the Craig Wright and falsified information in documents or falsified information, and that led them to getting sanctioned. Michael Welsh, a former lead attorney on the DebtBox case, and Joseph Watkins, an investigative attorney whose declaration served as the foundation for the SEC's case against DebtBox, were reportedly forced to step down or else be terminated. So this is good because it actually makes the SEC's other lawyers think twice. And also this does have reoccurring effects throughout the rest of the legal system because this actually makes other judges kind of look at the SEC with more of a weary eye. So they can't just go forth basically doing what they were doing because they know because lawyers are actually very, very aware of that the SEC is trying to play God in terms of regulation, and they don't really like that. So a spokesperson for the SEC declined to comment, but an April 15th court filing declared that Welsh is no longer employed by the SEC Commission. The other guy says he's still working for the SEC, but it looks like he's going to be fired soon. Major victory for cryptos because it kind of stunts the audacity of the SEC. So last December, Chief District Judge in the District Court of Utah, Robert Shelby, said he was concerned the commission made materially false and misleading representations, exactly why I said they pulled the Craig Wright, in their pursuit of restraining order that undermined the integrity of the proceedings. So this just definitely makes the other judges that are ruling on SEC cases be aware that the SEC is capable and is willing to go to these unscrupulous methods to actually win cases. Following Shelby's order, the SEC filed a response with the court admitting that its team fell short of standards but called sanctions unwarranted, but of course the legal system did not agree. In addition to apologies from Welsh and Watkins, the SEC's Division of Enforcement Director Gerber Grewal personally apologized for the agency's shortfall in the case of December 21st, 2023, but they were still sanctioned. This really, really cuts down the bravery of the SEC to do whatever they want in many of these lawsuits. Apologies were obviously not enough to get the SEC out of hot water. In February, 5 Senate Republicans sent the SEC Chairman Gary Gensler a letter blasting the agency for conducting itself in an unethical and unprofessional manner. So the SEC is getting hemmed in from all sides. That's really, really good news for crypto companies because if the SEC has to follow by the rules and not play out of bounds, then they have much less chances of actually winning these lawsuits, and they have much less, they basically are held on a short leash at this point. So another big win for crypto. RFK, the independent running for office, wants something interesting. He wants to put the entire US budget on blockchain. Now, I applaud this because it would actually make things a lot more transparent. I mean, there are a couple of things that I don't think should be on blockchain, notably black projects and secret projects, but I think it would at least give people some indication of where their tax dollars are going. U.S. presidential candidate RFK wants to put the entire U.S. budget on the blockchain. During a Michigan rally on April 21st, he proposed the idea that said the move would allow every American to look at every budget item anytime they want, 24 hours a day. Now, like I said, I think that's good for most budget items. I don't know about everyone. There are obviously some country secrets, secret projects that I bet other dictators would love to know that the U.S. is doing, and the U.S. definitely does not want them to know, and those things should not be on a public blockchain. We're going to have 300 million eyeballs on our budget, and if someone's going to spend $16,000 for a toilet seat, everyone's going to know about it. So, yeah, like waste like that, I definitely think could actually be recognized, and I think that would cut out a lot of the inefficiencies and the secret contracts that the government gets out. So it would actually allow for more transparency and accountability, and it was lauded by crypto advocates because it obviously uses the blockchain. One user wrote that transparent public accounting might be the best use case for blockchain tech besides the supply chain. So yeah, there's a lot of people for this. I'm actually for this as well. I think it's going to be great. Checks and balances in our government doesn't work if the branches are in on the corruption together. It's time the people hold them accountable. So hopefully this actually comes out to something. Don't really know if it will be, but hopefully it does come out to something. Some, however, have criticized the plan, claiming Kennedy is advocating for central banking digital currency. And I don't think those criticisms have much merit because, like RFK being a libertarian, I think he is the last one that would actually advocate for any kind of CBDC because that just doesn't really make any sense. So I actually really like RFK's idea. The implementations of it obviously is going to have some nuances. There's things that just really can't be on the blockchain, country secrets and all that stuff. And you might want some kind of a private-public semi-blockchain for this. But it'll be interesting if they actually end up putting a lot of stuff on the blockchain and the budget for people to see. Because then people just can't get away with being that spendthrifty. Hong Kong has actually a unique approach to crypto regulation. It's one that I think will actually be of very much interest to my audience. They want the city's crypto industry to self-regulate. That's what they want, self-regulating cryptos. They basically want industry people to watch each other instead of like a big regulatory program to watch the city. Now, this is a little bit different because Hong Kong, remember, is part of China. Party members are basically all over the companies as well. Like they're in the companies themselves. So you're probably going to have a lot of Communist Party members within these companies that will actually keep an eye out for regulators. So it would work a little bit different from what it is in the United States. I feel like if the US industry were to self-regulate, like there just wouldn't really be any regulation. Whereas like, because there's a lot of government stooges and government officials within these companies in China, it probably gives the government just as much of a grip. But I still think it's a unique way to actually handle this. I mean, it's been discussed in the US before, but obviously we haven't really gone through with it. The Hong Kong SEC has recommended the city's crypto firms set up a self-regulatory committee and monitor one another for compliance. The Hong Kong financial market industry is too focused on supervision, said the HKSFPA in an April 22nd recommendation letter, but there is no organization to maintain the overall development of the industry. The administrative body then noted that the need for Hong Kong to stay competitive in the global securities market and consolidate its status as an international financial center. In the outlining next steps, the HKSFPA recommended the city's regulator, the SFC, establish statutory, self-regulating, and autonomous bodies that would need to delegate licensing powers to industry players. So basically, they want the industry to kind of take care of itself. And like I said, it's a novel approach, because I think it would work better in China than it does here because of the amount of government, basically people in the companies themselves. But it'll be interesting to see if it does work, and maybe it can actually be a template of what happens here. In other news, Shiba Inu has raised $12 million for institutional investors, and that's for its latest privacy layer called Treat. So if you're wanting to buy like a meme kind of like affiliated coin, you might want to buy Treat. It is a privacy layer on Shiba Inu. It's actually good to see that some of these meme coins are actually trying to develop projects like Shiba or Floki, because eventually after you get to a certain point, you do actually need to develop serious projects. It can't just be like, oh, we're going to be a meme like all the way through. And I don't really know if Pepe or others have a plan to do this, but it's good to see that Shiba is actually planning to do this. I don't know if Doge has any plans. I know Floki has plans. And maybe those memes that can convert to actual like non-meme projects, like still kind of have like the meme effect, but like the projects actually have like development themselves. Maybe that's the future forward for these coins. According to the April 22nd announcement, investors include Coma 3 Adventures, Big Brain Holdings, Cypher Capital, Shima Capital, Hercules Ventures, Amica Brands, Morningstar Ventures, Woodstock Fund, DFW, Polygon Ventures, State Capital, the Illuminati, Primal Capital, Mechanism Capital, DWF Ventures, and Spirit DAO. So a lot of big players, a lot of fairly familiar names in the crypto industry. But Shiba is actually trying to develop its privacy layer, and maybe you want to get some treat. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you, and have a nice day.